It's not unusual to be
loved by anyone. It's not unusual.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Benoit will not be part of tonight's broadcast.
Megatrends in Brutality.
Welcome back to the program. Thanks for joining us, folks. It's good to see you out there. Listen to that metal. Welcome back to the program.
You know who you sound like?
My pal Schuler here.
I don't know if you're going to remember that. You probably won't remember this, man. You sound like a dude who you wouldn't have remembered this anyway because you wouldn't have listened to this. But Kicks 103, the country station in El Dorado.
I was forced to listen to that a lot.
There was a DJ named JB Billingsley who was higher up in the group there. He was one of the bigger DJs. Everybody have a happy birthday.
JB Billingsley coming at you, country's hottest hits. We got the new one from Garth Brooks. No offense from Kicks 103.
He smoked Vantage cigarettes, which I remember being funny. Have you ever smoked a Vantage cigarette before? Like, I bummed him off of him all the time. He was like, are you 18? And I was like, come on.
You 18 there, buddy? I'm not going to give you a Vantage if you're not of age.
They have like a little hole in the filter. So like, doesn't go all the way through. It's weird, man. Like the inside
Is that
of
where you
Vantage,
put the sherm for when you want to get wet?
Yeah, like I guess.
You ever get
maybe
wet,
so.
Schuler? Were you weren't a sherm guy, were you?
No, man, I never
Thank
did any kind of hallucinogen. No.
You only did the bad drugs. You didn't even do the fun ones.
Yeah, no, man. I only did the shit that steals your fucking soul.
Well, salute. This will be our first episode for 2023. Right. So it's 2023 right now for the folks out there.
Hey.
You survived the nuclear apocalypse, apparently, because we're here. So
yeah, congratulations.
Now here we go. This is a very precarious pile you're bringing over here.
Yeah, I'm trying to be careful here.
It'd be better for the show if you dropped them all.
I know, but I'm not that committed.
And shattered all your cases. Now see, he's off camera flexing now, which is embarrassing because he finally watches the episodes and he knows that I talk about him flexing his back and buttocks every time he goes to his archives. But oh wait, here he comes. Act natural. Hiya.
I can hear you from across the room. I know you said terrible things about
Nothing,
me.
boss.
To the people listening. Can we take a quick urine break?
No, I'm fine.
I'm going to take a quick urine.
No.
I'm doing it right now.
That's my fetish. I have a desperation fetish. I just wanted to watch you do it.
Don't look at me. Don't you fucking look at me. I'll be right back. Abandoned. Now I'm gonna cuss you up and down like you did me, you son of a bitch. You shit eater.
This is what's hilarious. You and I both are going to be releasing splits this year. And again, I'm still slowly working on that CROPSY Crypticus split because I have to do both sides. So it's like a Sisyphean task over here that I'm working on. But I'm almost done with it. But this is really funny because yours is very much, you're like on the frontier of like bringing back these weird industrial elements that have been kind of forgotten in death metal. And then the stuff I'm doing is so traditional. Like on one side, just total fucking grind. The other side, just 4 or 5 death metal epics on it.
But I'm excited, man. Like I'm excited about.
I'm a little trepidatious because I still don't know if I can pull off what I'm trying to pull off with this EP because I have to do both sides with 2 different productions.
The Crypticus EP.
Crypticus Maniac.
You should call it Crypticus. That should just be the title, right? And then the cover.
Cropsicus.
The cover is like you get Nev to draw you and Aaron's bodies joining like the thing. Like assimilating in the middle.
Not too far off, but no, we've already got a gentleman who's Mario Lopez is doing some incredible black and white artwork for us, which is in the classic EC horror comic style. And Aaron is like a huge worshiper of Cropsy and the burning and everything and the imagery around it and everything. So yeah, his whole band, he dresses up as Cropsy, he takes photos with the shears, everything. But so he's so fucking cool that he said, you're the vocalist now, and you have to, and the bass player, and the producer, and you have to write all the lyrics.
Oh, wow.
But it's still all Aaron's music. He writes all the riffs and everything, and it's all his stuff. But I told him, man, I'm not going to just write a bunch of lyrics about Cropsy. I'm not, obsessed with that movie like you are. And he's like, oh, no, just do whatever you want. I was like, oh, okay. And the next thing you know, I bust out a fucking amazing philosophical song about what it's like to be Cropsy. And like I'm putting all the all the Crypticus weirdness into it, and like, yeah. So next thing you know, I'm like way into it. I'm like layering vocal, like fuck, I'm obsessed with this, and I'm writing songs about what it's like to be a slasher.
The spirit of Cropsy has
it's
made its way
so
into
much fun. You know, it's almost like Japanese poetry where I'm contemplating the gore that I'm creating. So no matter what, the Crypticus still comes through. So yeah, I can't wait for you to hear this shit because
I'm stoked. Man.
What I did see, you brought up a big pile there, and you have your depression beard. So what death metal is going with your depression beard?
Well, the year's death metal is going with my depression beard.
This is your pile of the year?
Yeah, like all of this this massive stack of shit back here is all the stuff that I've been doing for the Death Metal Radio end of the year posts.
I don't have anything like that because I didn't do any show prep, so I'm afraid all my shit's still packed up.
Oh, but you've been moving too.
I'm like Trevor now. Yeah, all my shit's packed up.
Yeah, like
I had to take a dip in the death metal buying. I did, however, get the old Maceration, but I'm sure that's on your list. So we'll get to that when that comes up.
It's around here somewhere.
This is like your best of the year, or it's just everything?
So like,
wow.
Do you do a list?
Not anymore.
Do an end of the year list?
I used to be very meticulous about that, and I used to do one for No Clean Singing. They'd post mine every year.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got off of it, and they don't call me anymore. So.
Interesting. I just don't. It just felt arbitrary. What's really the difference between number 10 and number 9?
I don't agree with it being a ranking. I agree with it being 10 that knocked your socks off. Like,
now that I can do. If you want to, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I can do this. I can do 9 albums I love, and then the one that I think is the best of all of them. But I can't do them like this is 2, this is 3, this, you know, because like you're saying, then it does become kind of arbitrary. You're going by like cover art or whatever, or, you know.
Yeah, and like evaluations like that. They used to make a lot of sense for me. It used to be a structure that I thought was very grounding and that I thought was, you know,
sure,
if nothing else, conducive to being able to talk about these things. And at this point, I still think it might be those things. I just don't care. Like, when I look on Pitchfork or whatever, and I see that an album got like a 7.3 or something like that, I'm like,
what
the fuck is the 0.3, man? Like, what did you not like that, or what is it that you did like that elevated that shit from a 7 to specifically
that's
a 7.3?
I'm going to say 0.3.
If there is, like as I swish my fucking sommelier.
Yes, as I swirl my Tecate.
Whatever it is that you drink when you think that you're better than everybody else. Snifter me with my little fucking... Yes.
The feces. 0.3.7. I go many decimals. You know, it doesn't have to be about any.
It doesn't have.
These are albums you like.
These are albums that I like. These are things they happen to come out in 2022. That's a thing that they have in common. But they're fucking records that are really, really good.
Apropos of nothing, just the fact that the page is open right now. I'm looking at that Sermon of Mockery, Crippler, Crossfade, Murder, Suicide.
Yeah, dude, it's good. I mean, it's
fucking savage. I love the fucking
record,
sample of Vince McMahon at the beginning.
It's but yeah,
this broadcast.
There's a lot, dude. I liked it, but I did like the release, and I liked it better than Slob. I got those like at the same time.
Very similar vibes on both of them. I think I'm gonna order both those because of you.
Slob's a little sloppier.
I kind of like it though. You're right though. In your review, you said there was a little bit more to it than just the dumb slams. I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Now we're reviewing our reviews.
We're revisiting them. Writing is recursive, guys. The thing that I like about death metal lyrics and death metal lyricism, and that is like, I want like the rot and then the stinky stinks and all of the, all the nasty nasties. Like I want those
as
things,
we
right?
all do.
But occasionally, I want to be wooed as well. Like,
so you got a Crippler, Crossfade, Murder, Suicide, and you got the Backwoods Shack of Sodom. That's quite a twofer.
Comatose Records just pumping them out for the people.
Yeah, I love it. Well, this is interesting. I'm on the Comatose Bandcamp right now. Have you seen this? That he's putting back out the Infinited Hate. Remember them? Which was like a Sinister side project.
No.
Infinited Hate. It was when Sinister broke up. The drummer Audrey, he went and formed a band with his wife on vocals. This band called Infinited Hate, which put out about 3 albums, and 2 of them were like with a drum machine, and it's like the weirdest elements of Sinister, but with a drum machine and with female brutal vocals.
Interesting.
I find it. I'm kind of surprised you're not familiar with those albums, but Comatose is apparently re-releasing them right now.
This is Rachel Hazer. She sang in Sinister too. I remember. Yeah, that's where I know her from. It
was basically like Sinister slowly broke up and became Infinited Hate for a while, and then it became other shit. So
gotcha.
I don't know. You might like those are very weird albums. Like way weirder than Sinister's weirdest stuff, where it's like, are you trying to be brutal or just weird with this riff?
I'll check it out.
So I thought it was interesting though that he's re-releasing those. Those have been kind of forgotten. So it's really cool that he's making them available. I guess they're digipacks too. So.
I meant to ask you about Intestinal Laceration. So I like them.
Oh yeah, I bought that.
Yeah,
I bought that CD.
I like their last EP too. What did I say about them? Oh yes,
I wanted them
with C2 production from that last Devangelic record.
To recap for everyone.
Yeah.
So everyone understands on Twitter.
This is difficult sometimes.
You know, Schuler will just drop these cryptic fucking tweets where I have to sit there and parse out what he says, and he's like, so basically you were saying you wanted that Intestinal Laceration album, but with the production of the Devangelic, you're set to...
Yes, you solved the puzzle. Yes.
So I immediately opened a window on Bandcamp with the Devangelic album and the Intestinal Laceration album, and I A and B'd them, and I said, the snare is better on the Intestinal Laceration, and it's warmer, has a fuller production. The Devangelic is really mechanical and tight and sharp, but their snare wouldn't work with that. And I sat there and actually thought about it, and like got way into it.
Well, I still want it.
You'd be disappointed. It would be less. It would be less character than because I bought that and I have both those albums. I own them both. Yeah. I think the Devangelic is a little generic sounding compared to the Intestinal Laceration, which has a lot of really good kind of sloppy character to it. That's actually why I bought it.
They've got like slams and stuff in that Intestinal Laceration record. Devangelic,
it's a little dumber.
Devangelic's more technical. But one of the things that's tight about the Intestinal Laceration record is that it opens and closes with like long ass instrumentals. Like the first song is like a 3.5 minute fucking literal death metal song. Like it doesn't. I'm sure there could be lyrics for it, but there aren't. I like that. For some reason, that's cool to me.
That, yeah.
And then the last track is like a 6 minute long fucking acoustic guitar like doodle.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
They may be less tight in some places than Devangelic, but they're also doing these weird sort of accented instrumental tracks or whatever that are like
that's why I really liked it. It's one I'd never heard. Well, I don't think they haven't done anything, have they?
They have an EP. There's another EP. I forget the name of it though. Do you like Celtic Frost?
Not familiar.
Are you familiar with Celtic Frost?
Yes. Yes, I'm familiar.
You've heard of these guys before?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of my favorite beatbox intros ever on an album.
I was just doing some perusing on the old Night Shift merch website and saw that this Dance Macabre, it's a box set from 1984 to 1987.
That looks good.
Nothing in there that I didn't already have, but the book is really cool. The book has a lot of really cool stuff in it. You got interviews with Tanji Warrior. You got an interview with Reed St. Mark is in there.
Reed.
It has a copy of Emperor's Return on CD, and that's the very first time that's ever happened, apparently.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Except for the bootlegs. It was like bootlegged a lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it said so on the hype sticker or whatever, like on CD for the first time.
Is it the classic cover with like the
Snake Man and the fucking yeah.
Okay, because I guess the bootlegs had different covers and shit. Yeah, I love that cover.
Yeah. So these are the big prizes.
I love that.
The Emperor's Return.
Oh, is it
CD.
Digipack?
Yeah, Digipack. The Grave Hill Bunker Hill rehearsals. Grave Hill Bunker rehearsals.
Oh, I love that artwork.
Yeah, it's got 4 tracks on there, and it's got the Celtic Frost lineup playing Messiah, which is pretty tight. The Hellhammer track.
Fuck yeah.
And then there's like a cool little pin and this other shit. Dude, I love box sets so much. Like I fucking I'll get into a band just to enjoy their box set. I'll be like, oh fuck, Grave's got a box set. All right, I think I could get into Grave. You know what I mean? Like I love box sets. I have great memories of like buying box sets from Sam Goody.
I was gonna say,
On Cue became.
Remember that fucking Misfits box set, the big coffin one? Everyone.
Dude, I've seen it.
You never had that?
I've seen it online. I've never had it, and
great.
I've never held it in my hands. I've looked for it before. I looked for the Sam Hain box set too. Those motherfuckers are hard to find. But like, I remember buying the Metallica Live Shit Binge and Purge, 2 VHS, 3 CDs, Snake Pit Pass. A book of pictures and other shit like that. I was just like, I just could dive into it.
I saw him on that tour.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, that was my first concert ever. My first real concert. I remember that just when they came out on stage, you know, and I was like fucking a million miles away. I was like, I'm breathing the same air as James Hetfield. He's literally alive in front of me as a human being sharing space with me.
If I make enough money in Metallica or like in their 70s, and by the time I'm able to just be like, you know what, man, I'll drop $3-4 grand on something like this just to have fun. I'll do that 5th member thing. Have you looked at that?
No. What, you get to go on stage with them or something?
I think that you get like all kinds of other perks. I think that you go to multiple shows or some shit like that.
Lars makes love to your girlfriend.
You get to meet with 2 members of the band who are guaranteed to be Rob and Kirk. Like, you know, that's who they're going to put you with.
What do you mean?
Yeah, Rob's definitely going to be one of them, right?
Rob, for sure.
Shout out to Rob Trujillo. You're an amazing bass player. I love the way you stand like a spider monkey.
Yes, he rules, but he knows he's the low man on the totem pole. He knows.
You know you're the low man on the totem pole in Metallica.
Yeah, I love that part. I would delete that.
Delete that.
What's that? I said I would delete that. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Cliff Curtis. Cliff Curtis said that should open the fucking record.
Yeah, and then you look at Cannibal Corpse in the studio, and they're just crushing it. And they're just the most awesome dudes to each other, and they're supporting each other.
Yes, and just like watching the musicianship, man.
Yeah, exactly.
The Wretched Spawn DVD that came with the CD is one that would just continuously fucking be on the background when I lived in a spare bedroom in 2012.
The one where they're in Florida, right?
Yeah, it was Sonic Ranch with Neil Kernan.
Neil Kernan, that's right.
Right. Neil Kernan did that one and Gore Obsessed.
He did a good job. I really liked his mix.
He was the assistant engineer for Colin Richardson.
It shows. He's got a similar style, very similar style.
Amazing
mixing to Richardson. Richardson's one of my favorites.
He's incredible.
Yeah, that's a whole talk there.
I got like a million different rabbit holes I could go down now. A couple of things that I was going to mention. Number one, we've been, or at least I have anyway, absolutely losing my shit over that Stabbing record. It's a perfect brutal death metal record.
It's fucking
I love
great.
it so much.
Yeah, it's fucking great. It has like a classic style to it. It's not like no frills, but really good. Like just really
and like
solid.
really, exactly. Like it's a really organic songwriting for that kind of style of music.
Yes,
like the slams, when the slams come, don't know how to put these things into words. When the slams come, they feel like they belong there. That's the best I can do. You know what I mean? Like
almost classic sounding, but also really nice and fat, and thick and modern. The kick drum on that is so satisfying. Yeah, they nailed it. So yeah, I ordered it too. Yeah, that's really good.
So a release that I think is sort of getting overshadowed by that one, because I think it was released at the same time and also on Comatose, is this EP. It's a debut EP from Imperial Execration. It's called Commanding Satan's Crusades. I really like it, dude. I thought there's a whole lot of frantic shit going on, and like I am just stoked on every now and then if a brutal death metal band comes at me with some subject matter that I'm not used to seeing or that I haven't seen in a long time. I'm stoked on that, and this is just straight up like, but hail Satan, dog! Like that's what they're all about. Yes,
that's kind of rare. Yeah,
Commanding Satan's Crusades. You don't see that a lot in brutal death metal and slam, right? Not on Comatose Records. Actually, Comatose is like blasphemous, but Summoning the Ancient Hordes, Commandments of the Age of Darkness, Throne of
I'm gonna have to give this
Abominations. Yeah, dude, give it another shot.
Give it another,
awesome.
Because I maybe didn't give it. I think I maybe only heard the one song or whatever when it was a pre-order.
Oh man, I like it a lot. I would check it out. One of the things that I definitely want everyone who is seeing this to buy, though, is something that I wanted to buy for a really long time. I have fucking run down all kinds of CDs that I've always wanted, like original copies of or whatever. I never bought this one because it was always too fucking expensive. It's the debut record from Mortal Decay. It's called Sickening Erotic Fanaticism. It was just reissued by Dissonant Tapes on CD for the first time, I believe, since it was originally released back in the 90s. It's Mortal Decay is a band that I fucking, if you like brutal death metal, and you're curious, especially with like New York brutal death metal, like Mortal Decay is an incredible band, right? I hate the cover of the original record. It's like this. The original cover is the girl strung up.
Oh, it's that. I remember
the girl with no shirt, and she's like tied up or whatever. And like, I'm sure they were kids when they did this, and I'm sure that was fucking extreme.
I got that as a promo.
Yeah.
When I ordered some black metal CDs in the 90s.
Oh man.
They sent me that as a promo. Yeah, that new shit looks way better.
Yeah, so they updated the cover art. It looks like an actual fucking brutal death metal record. It sounds incredible.
They even went classic black and white too.
Man.
I love that.
Dissonant Tapes does some cool shit every now and then. It's New York brutal death metal, man. There's some Suffocation vibes in there, but there's some catchier stuff in there too.
Let me ask you, didn't they, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they release a new album like maybe 4 or 5 years ago? Or am I thinking something?
Blueprint for Bloodspatter came out in 2013. I liked it.
I barely remember it, you know, they were broken up for a long time, right?
Yeah, they were.
Is it one of those bands?
They were they were gone for a long fucking time.
Yeah, I'm just kind of woefully uneducated on them.
The album Forensic, I think, is really fucking good.
I know that one. Yeah, I've heard that one back in the day.
Terrible cover, absolutely
goofy ass cover.
Yeah, it's like
that's when they need to repaint that one.
You're like from inside, like a cadaver or whatever, and you're being operated on, or not a cadaver, a body, but you're being operated on or whatever, and it's like the wound is the shape of the band logo or something like that.
Yes, it's a cool idea.
It's a cool idea. Poor execution.
You didn't pull it off.
Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. What are you gonna do, man? While I got the Mortal Decay one because I'd been waiting for them to drop the order link for that, I went ahead and grabbed this fucking special edition of Internal Bleeding's first tape. It's the Voracious Contempt, and the only thing about so like I own a CD copy of this, but like it's a tape. It's a tape in just a big box. And
oh, that's
so
nice.
I said to myself, that's something that I want. I want to have that. So I did. I bought it for $16.
I gotta say, I don't know if that album deserves that treatment. But.
Oh no. So there's definitely there are songs on that record that I really love and that I feel are indicative of everything that we love and where it was headed for that style of death metal, right? I do think that as a sonic document, it is a very, very interesting thing to study because I think there's a lot of stuff formula-wise that they were trying new things, like Bill Tolley's drums, the snares in places where like he'd keep fucking hitting it at places where, you know, a modern death metal listener is not going to expect that kind of. You would expect like a drum fill in that spot or something like that, but not Bill Tolley. He's just going to keep hammering on that fucking snare.
You appreciate this shit on the same level that I appreciate bad horror movies.
Yeah.
Because, see, I appreciate bad horror movies more than I'll appreciate some bad death metal. I'm not saying this is bad death metal. It's just not for me.
It's not bad death metal.
That was the beginning of the riffery.
Brutal. Yeah, it's fucking slam, man. Like, this is...
Yeah. See, like, whereas I'd say that new Stabbing has some riffs that are awesome. This stuff was the that I thought wasn't so exciting. You know?
Internal Bleeding had to crawl, right? So that Stabbing could fucking run.
Yeah, especially that album is an embryonic album for the scene.
Yeah.
I had that. My friend Sean Townsend and I, we bought that out of a cutout bin at the mall in the 90s. We were like, oh, what is this? And because we were heavily into black metal and stuff, and we bought this. We're like, what is this?
Dude, that's insane.
This stinks. Yeah, and we just did not have the context for it at the time.
Yeah.
And so I just have a bad association with that album. To me, that's like, I put it in the same league as Goat Lord or something, where it's like, you know, But you know, I do recognize that it is a legendary album.
It is a legendary album. I like the band.
Yeah, I always like the kind of more highbrow, quote unquote, of the New York scene.
I like the highbrow
like
stuff. I like the dumb shit too, though. And I like that. Like with Suffo, like when you look at Suffo and you say like this is the highbrow shit, playing wise, sure. I think
that's not how they started though. You know,
they started rough. Frank and Mike sitting there being like, all right, here's a basic phrase. Grab that motherfucking thesaurus and grab that motherfucking dictionary. And we about to figure out how to turn this 3-syllable fucking title into one that is 19 syllables.
I love that shit.
Using words that people like leisure and veracity. Come on.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Very much endearing to me. I'm not trying to take pot shots or shoot down at it or whatsoever, right? But like it helps to realize a lot, or it helps me anyway, when I'm sort of going back and reevaluating a lot of this stuff, like as an adult, as a fucking 40-year-old man. It's humbling to me to be like, these guys were 18. Like, they were 19 years old doing this shit. You know what I mean? Like, what was I doing? I was just high, like asleep. That's what I did at 19 years old. You know what I mean? They did something that I didn't, and they did it at a, you know, in a groundbreaking
way. I became a really late Suffocation fan.
Yeah.
Like, I really, like, it would be embarrassed. Like, I mean, I'm embarrassed to even say. Like, I'm talking like, in the last 5 years or 6 years.
Why is that embarrassing? Fuck that shit,
no,
man.
because I honestly was not into brutal, quote unquote, death metal until maybe the last 10 years or so.
Same. I didn't know it was called that. Right?
Oh, you didn't even have that delineation.
Yeah, like I didn't realize the brutal death metal subgenre was a thing until around 10 years ago. That sounds about right. But I listened to a lot of brutal death metal bands. I just didn't realize that they were grouped that way. And the way that you found out about stuff was also different than even 10 years ago, right?
Well, no, you know what? It's true, because I honestly didn't understand the specific genre of brutal death metal until online communities said this is the borders of it and this is where it started and so on. So yeah, it was actually when I started getting educated about it, because you're right, I did listen to some brutal death metal bands and didn't understand that they were quote unquote brutal, like Cannibal Corpse for a long time. I didn't understand that they're kind of like them and Suffocation are patient zeros for brutal death metal. I didn't even know that. This is something that was very fascinating to me. I didn't know that the majority of the original brutal death metal scene considers Tomb of the Mutilated to be like, boom, that was brutal death metal number one, which is weird, because I would think Suffocation was like, there's way more Suffocation ripoff bands in modern music, like, and I mean this as a compliment, half of Indonesia is Suffocation influenced bands, and there's very few Cannibal Corpse specific influenced bands. Like when a band is imitating Cannibal Corpse, it's so obvious. But
I don't know. There are a few. They're just not brutal death metal bands. That's one of the things that I think maybe that's
like who.
So like UNDEATH.
I consider UNDEATH more kind of weirdly proggy.
They're kind of all over the. They're all over the spectrum. But like if you. Being the fan of Kill that you are, and me being the fan of Kill that I am, like, listen to their first record, and then listen to their second record, and then just think about the fact that, like, it's them just playing Kill songs. Like, those riffs.
What this?
UNDEATH, dude, UNDEATH is like Kill era Cannibal Corpse. It's really fucking good.
Well, now that's interesting to me because I consider Kill to be a 100% brutal death metal album and one of the most brutal death metal.
It's brutal, but, like, there's something about UNDEAth that's not. UNDEATH's not brutal death metal. UNDEAth is death metal.
I consider UNDEATH more Vile era or the Bleeding era when I listen to them. So I gotta listen to this again.
Another one.
I don't hear any Kill, but I gotta check it out.
Oh yeah, go listen to it again. They've even talked about it before. Or Kyle, the guitar player, I know has talked about it before.
Because Kill is very proggy too.
Yes,
very weird proggy riffs.
And like and you and I have talked about this before. Like for the new school of death metal that's like caveman shit or whatever, like some of this shit's relatively complicated. Sanguisugabogg has some novel shit going on guitar.
Yeah, their new song that just came out, I listened to it just yesterday. I was like, man, it's got like 20 riffs in it.
Yeah.
It's people will listen to this and go that it's just duh. Like, no, it's it's got some really cool time signature changes. Very, very I really loved it. Did you hear that new single they put out?
Yeah, I did. It was
I really liked it.
So I ran into Devin at Trevor's Memorial back in July, and we were talking about it, and he told me then that, the record was done and told me what it was called.
Oh, it's from the record.
Yeah,
okay.
And who produced it, right? Kurt Ballou.
Oh, really?
Yes, from Converge.
Oh, for years I've been saying Cannibal Corpse needs to go to Kurt Ballou. He will fucking, like, that would be the album that would crush Kill, is if they went to Kurt Ballou.
Kurt Ballou mixed it, Alan Dutch mastered it.
Yeah, the mastering Kurt Ballou is irrelevant because his mixing is so powerful.
Yeah.
Who mixed their first one? Was that like Arthur Rizek?
All in house.
Oh, that was really good.
And Cody from Sanguisugabogg has Fix My Face Studios, I think is what it's called.
He's the drummer, right?
Yeah, he's the drummer, and like
that's right.
He's got other bands. He's got like Putrid Stews, Gore Grind. There's one called Skag that him and Devin do. It's like D-beat sound and shit. But I think he produces all that shit. So like he produced the new Sanguisugabogg record. It was all produced and recorded and everything in house, and then they just farmed it out to Kurt Ballou and Alan Dutch.
Yeah, that's what you do. That's really smart. Man, his drum sound is so great always. It's like his snare. Oh, it's so good.
Sick fucking drummer, man. I love that sound.
Hip hoppy,
really
funky. Like he throws in so many kind of almost primacy kind of beats. In brutal death metal, I love to hear funky drumming and stuff from other genres.
Yes. Another band drawing massive Cannibal Corpse influence, Cryptic Hatred from Finland. Dropped their debut record this year.
Yeah, I bought that.
Major Cannibal Corpse worship.
I was really surprised how good that was.
Those dudes are like 17, 18 years old. They're kids.
I keep trying to recommend this one to everyone, and it's not on CD. It's only on digital. Misanthropic is the band.
Oh, okay.
Malicious Procession of Rotted Flesh, which is their EP that they put out. It's got awesome old school cover art. It looks like something from the 90s. Arizona.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. Malicious Procession of Rotten Flesh.
Yeah, and you'll see my review right there on the page. It's fucking great, man. That's one of my favorites of the year. It's all classic riffery. It's got a ton of Deicide influences.
Okay.
The production is perfect. It sounds so classic. Highly recommended. That one's supposedly going to be put out on a CD by somebody or tape or something, but I've gotten no news of that yet. I've just bought the digital. So I recommend that one to everyone. See, the problem is I don't have a nice pile to show off. I only have the one CD here that I got. Because this is the first I had to do since I moved into the new place. I had to do like a trial order to see if I could get a CD before Porch Pirates would get it, or how the situation is here. Mail.
Yeah.
So this was my canary in the coal mine. I said I'm going to order something hard and see if it makes it through the system. And I ordered from Germany the Maceration album. I don't know if you can see it through the. But I got a nice crack there.
Oh,
real nice crack. Real nice. So it's like, God damn it. And it's nice and bent, so I'm not sure if I'm going to open this and find a CD that's cracked or not.
Mine made it safely, but there's
Dan Swano's fucking return to death metal, which is highly overdue. And it's funny because he's always like, "I'm done with death metal." Yeah,
death metal's done with you when it decides, and that point in time,
I like this.
That point in time is in fact your death. So.
I think you coined a shirt. I think that's a new shirt.
Get comfortable, Dan Swano. You got work left to do, brother. You're the conduit.
Death metal's not done with you.
It's not, man. Like, listen to the Maceration record. If you doubt me, listen to the Maceration record and listen to that fucking voice. Listen to that thing that he's not been using all this time because he's been so talented that he's being fucking bombarded to use his other talents. Like, that motherfucker can growl. I love Dan Swano's vocals, man.
And on top of it, it's such a unique growl. Like, you hear it and you go, that's Swano. Like, it just immediately sounds like Edge of Sanity, and his tone of growling is so unique, and so and of course his production too. That's one of his butteriest, baby. Man. It's so lush.
Dude, it's so good. The Maceration record, if I were to make a list and put records at the top of it, I don't know exactly. See, I can't do it though, man.
Production wise, you mean?
No. Just like as far as full on albums of the year go, but Bloodbath would be way up at the top, and Maceration would be up there with it. Just because
I think they're kind of neck and neck, those two.
Somebody on Twitter said something to the effect of Maceration is a good record for the people for whom the new Bloodbath wasn't bloodbathy enough, or something like that.
The new Bloodbath was bloodbathy as fuck.
It's the best record they've done with Nick. It's the best record they've done in years, and they haven't put out any bad records before. So like,
I like this Maceration, but I don't think it's the same style as that Bloodbath.
I think it's got more of a melodic death metal tilt to it, I think.
Yeah, it's much more Swedishy, whereas that Bloodbath is much more American. Yeah, but man, I guess I'm trying to remember what the original Maceration shit was, which I guess they released an album like a million years ago.
One Side.
I remember the cover.
Yeah, One Side.
Isn't there an album?
Project album from 1992. It has since been re-released and reissued, and I have a copy on the way because I've never heard it before.
I think that's one that didn't Swano produce that one too?
Yeah,
it was recorded in his basement.
He was involved in it somehow, but like, he's not in the band, so like he's on this
just
record.
did the vocals.
Yeah, but they've got another singer now. But like I'm
good luck to him.
Yeah, I know, right?
Good luck topping this.
No pressure, motherfucker. Like I thought it was. I just thought it was a really fucking good record, man. And I don't.
So good, so solid.
Yeah, and
really did scratch that itch where. I love all of Swano's proggy shit, but I'm a fan of him primarily as a death metal dude. Like, Infest Dead is just some of the best death metal riffery of all time, and I think we got an episode happening here. What you got there?
An episode.
Your next
the next thing that I've got is something that I ordered because I was placing a Horror Pain Gore Death order the other day, and it's the Crippler. The name of the record is "I'm Just Gonna Let Myself In." Let's see what's in those pockets.
What? Wow, this is creepy. What else?
I don't want to hurt you. I just want to kill you. Suicide by cop. Stabbing people. I have a house full of guns.
Jesus Christ.
Where's my fucking money?
This is getting, like you said about Larry Wang, this is getting oddly specific.
Yeah. So the thing about it is the people who are involved, and I can't remember who they are, but they're part of other bands that I'm familiar with. And here in the liner notes, it doesn't have any last names. It's Big Scare, Jag, Hook, Evan, and Schlack.
Okay. Boy, those are some pretty fucking terrifying names, though. It really paints a picture. I mean, all this paints a picture.
They look exactly like what you think they'd look like. If I told you what their names are and you whatever's in your head right now, I guarantee you, like, that's them.
So they look like wrestlers, in other words.
They look exactly like fucking wrestlers. They look exactly like wrestlers.
Shocking. Well, these are clearly folks you can trust to babysit your kids with song titles like that.
This shit's good, man. Like, the thing about it, so...
Slammy?
No, it's got a grind feel to it in a lot of places, and there's even like it's even like kind of thrashy in some spots too. Like,
all right, really, unexpected.
It's really cool. It's a lot of fun, man. I just got it, like I said, because the title was so absurd.
You'll just you go through looking for the most amusing concepts and titles.
The Elbow Deep album where Optimus Prime's on the cover.
Yeah.
Fucking a Power Wheels thing in the sandbox. Like,
that's one I almost wanted to buy for that cover, and I was like, yeah, it's not worth me buying it. But
I got it. I'll just grab a couple more random ones.
Sure.
Here's one that surprised me that I thought was particularly good. It's another Horror Pain Gore Death one. It is Got Gore by the band Gorged Afterbirth. And if you're looking at the cover there, you can see that it's a busted up face on a milk carton. Music-wise, it's pretty fucking good, dude. It is brutal death metal. It's got some fun samples on there. Like, it's just really fucking heavy.
This one's totally new to me. I'm not familiar with that at all. So,
Bludgeoned. Heard this?
Bludgeoned.
The cover looks like a fucking Brodekin album. The reason that I picked this up is because the singer's a guy named John Huber. He was in a band called I Declare War, which is one of the only deathcore bands that I was really super into while he was in the band. Afterwards, it just kind of changed a lot. But he was also in Pathology, and he did 2 records with Pathology when they were on Victory. Just inhuman fucking gutturals, dude. Like, it doesn't even sound like gutturals. Like, it's just... Listen to Pathology's Awaken to the Suffering. He's not doing that style on this. It's still deep and it's still brutal, but it's not quite that low. But this is still like crazy fucking heavy as shit brutal death metal. A lot of frantic stuff going on. I think you like the production on it too. So Bludgeoned, the name of the EP is Summary Execution. And yes, you would be forgiven for thinking that it was a Brodekin record.
It's kind of in the same way that there's many bands on Bandcamp doing Mortician worship. I'm kind of happy to see they're starting to be Brodekin worship, and kind of, very much in the same style with the rawness and everything, and the over-the-top kind of almost improvised. But nothing that I've heard so far has been as good as those new Brodekin songs, which were,
those new Brodekin songs, dude.
We're just waiting for that album. We're all just waiting for that.
I need that record. Because I like the rawness of old Brodekin, like to an extent. But I would, if you said, hey, you have your choice to hear this record sounding the way it sounds now, or to hear it with modern production and a little bit of a budget behind it, I'm going to take modern production with a little bit of.
That new shit is still raw as fuck. It's just they finally panned the guitars left and right and kind of gave it a decent sound. But yeah, believe me,
it's not analepsy or anything, but it sounds fucking leagues better.
Yeah,
than the old
that's all I ever wanted from them was like, come on, put a little production into it, guys. But yeah, and I think it totally works for their sound. It doesn't diminish the heaviness at all.
I was just going to bring up one that you and I both wigged out about that I fucking would listen to again in a heartbeat, that I've listened to a million times since then, and I'm really impressed by. Tribal Gaze, the 9 Choirs.
It's okay. I kind of thought it was a masterpiece the first listen to it. Like now I can kind of, digest it as a normal album. It's a very unique album and
it's very unique.
But here's the thing. I can break down the formula for you are you ready for this?
I don't want to.
No, it's good. It's good. This is the formula.
The forbidden knowledge.
This is the formula.
Okay.
They are taking an influence from the guitar tone and style from the band Cathedral and applying it to death metal, which has never been done before. Okay, I've always been a fan of the guitar in the band Cathedral, even though the vocals of Lee Dorian are pretty.
Lee Dorian?
Well, I love Lee Dorian, but I don't like Lee Dorian's vocals.
Yeah.
And and I love him as a dude who runs an awesome label and promotes a lot of awesome bands and shit. But I always loved the guitar in Cathedral. Thought it was just fucking amazing. Yeah. And this is the first death metal band. They take the same kind of melodies and harmonies and guitar sound as Cathedral. And here's the other thing they do, which is very interesting. And this might be the Texas in them. There's a lot of Dimebag Darrell in the soloing, and a little bit of a Pantera influence in the writing overall. Now, re-listen to it with all that. And then the vocals are very unusual for the brutality that they're doing. The vocals are very kind of more in line with early death metal, like, Pestilence or something like that. It makes me think of Van Drunen.
It's got a big hardcore feel to me in the vocals, but like for me, that's not a bad thing.
No, I love that too.
Definitely check out the new Tribal Gaze record. Really unique record. There's a lot of shit going on there that I think we haven't heard in a while.
And this also, I would like to add, it's even weird and outside of the normal Maggot Stomp albums. It's not kind of the usual style on that label. So like there's a couple songs, like that one, Jungle Rituals.
Yeah.
Bro, yes. Bro, that's like as good as a Cannibal Corpse song.
Just that opening track, just that fucking like the intro part, I feel like is so fucking epic. And then like the weird choir sample or whatever. But then once that stomp kicks in, and just like, Jesus Christ, that's how you start a fucking record.
It has bombast. It's huge. Yeah, I really think people should be recognizing these guys for putting out an album this fucking epic. This is an album you need to check out if you don't know this band. This is a band from the early 80s that were basically a huge influence on. I don't know how many people are even familiar with this, but Pungent Stench had a very infamous EP, which was very industrial, and
I never heard that.
It's really, I mean, it's bad. Yeah. It's bad techno, but it's hilarious. That's the one where they do the cover of Why Can the Bodies Fly? But
Warning?
Yes, their name is Warning, but yeah, not to be confused with the Warning, the Doom band, which is a funeral doom band. Yeah. But yeah, you need to check out that album because they were seriously pioneers that influenced black metal, death metal, gore grind and stuff, and they were just like an industrial band, a kind of.
Yo, what the fuck is this?
These guys are pioneers. TROCAR is influenced by these guys, whether you know it or not. So, yeah.
This is insane.
So good.
These are like gore grinds.
Exactly. And it's the fucking early 80s. It's the early 80s. But Pungent Stench covered them. That's the only reason I know these guys.
All right. Jesus Christ.
Love you, sir. Thank you. Thank you all for watching.
You motherfuckers.
I hope you all rot in hell.
Love ya. Thanks for watching.
Die terribly, and thank you.